let me ask you a different question. A serious question, okay? I'm a 22-year-old kid listening to this. I'm a driven guy, want to do big things. Forget about the guy that's not ambitious, that doesn't want to do anything with his life, and he just wants to kick back. You don't need to tell him. You couldn't motivate the guy even if you brought all the best motivational speakers in the room. I'm a 22-year-old kid. I really want to do something big with my life. We're all in our 30s and 40s here, and some of us are maybe not in our 40s and 30s. But in the room here, you can give this advice to somebody at 22 years old. What would you tell this kid?
Eat clean.
About drugs. What would you tell him about drugs?
Stick to the natural stuff.
What would you tell him about drugs?
Look, I've done drugs. I grew up in South Beach. I've done. I'm not. I always tell this story that the only reason I'm alive right now is I don't like cocaine. I mean, everyone in Miami is cocained out, and that's how they party. I would say this: get your shit done. Focus on what is actually important, like work. Get your, but if you're doing well and you want to go out on the weekends, again, I think smoking a joint is way better than getting wasted and just taking a fit to the head on alcohol.
Your 18-year-old son, you going to tell him that?
I would say I'd rather him smoke a joint than drink a liter of alcohol.
So you're okay with him smoking without 18 years old?
They're going to do it anyway. Real talk. I mean, how many?
Well, no.
50%.
Wait a minute. Hang on a second.
Wrong assumption.
You didn't do it till you were out of college, right? You
Correct.
Said, okay, so when you say they're going to do it anyways, we don't know that.
I'm saying in
college. What would you say, Gerard? What would you say?
I think, dude, unfortunately, man, I think this is one of those things where people need to touch the stove to realize how hot it is. Like, every time I did drugs, every time I got drunk, every time I got messed up, I didn't have a bad time. But every time I had the worst night of my life, I was high or I was drunk or I was messed up. So it's not like every time you do something, you ruin your life. But every time you ruin your life, you're on some shit.
You know what's the thing I would say is the following. Here's what I remember. I can tell you crystal clear. Every single time where I was at when a kid said, "Here, smoke a cigarette." I said, "I don't want to smoke a cigarette." My mom and dad smoked 2 packs a day every day from the day I was born. In our house, in our car, everybody smoked 2 packs a day. 2 packs a day, okay, in Iran, okay. So we be in a car in a white Renault. Mom and dad are smoking cigarettes. The whole car, you know about the hot box and stuff. I mean, we've been around. I had secondhand. What do you call
brutal.
it?
Hot box,
Ask my dad the story. Look what he'll tell you.
You're saying hotboxing cigarettes?
Cigarettes.
Without the window down?
Windows up.
Who does that?
That was very normal in Iran. By the way,
what?
it's not just my parents. It's not just my parents.
Remember in airplanes, they used to have ashtrays in your seats.
It's back now with vapes. You go into a bar down in Florida,
to me,
it's vape.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. So that was cigarettes. That was he liked his alcohol. Every day he drank a glass like this of Ori. I don't know how you describe what Ori is. 60%. I mean, it was 60 proof. It's legit stuff that you're talking about, okay? So, and you guys know how much I love my dad. So this isn't something, he would tell you these stories himself, right? Okay. Go to high school. I see guys smoking cigarettes. I'm like, I'm good, guys. You guys smoke cigarettes. I've had the chance to smoke cigarettes since I was 6 months old. You guys, I've probably been smoking more cigarettes than both of you guys combined. So then the weed situation comes out. You want to smoke weed? I'm good. Then the other couple of the situations comes up. One time I don't know if I've told the story here. I'm working at Bally's. This one guy that's working there, he's always got these S500s parked outside. He's got a boat. He's got a yacht. But he never sells memberships, and he's a salesperson.
He's selling drugs.
He's making $6.75 an hour. I'm like, how the hell? So one day I'm like, I don't even want to say the guy. Let's say his name is Michael. Very good friend till today. Or
Schmavid.
No. Let's say his name is Michael. One day I say, Michael, can we go to Quiznos? We go. He would never let me pay. I'm like, dude, you're not making money. I said, dude, I got you. You're cool. I said, no. I said, don't.
I used to love the pickle bar.
Yeah,
Quiznos.
so I'd go to Quiznos. So he says, I said, I got you, Pete. Don't worry about it. So he pays for me. 10 years older than me. I said, dude, Michael, how the hell you make all this money? He said, what are you doing this Saturday? I said, I'm open. He said, let's go somewhere. So we go Saturday. Introduced me to the top, cocaine dealer in L.A., Colombian guy. So I meet him. Then he says, let's go. We go to the back. How much money are you making? I said, dude, I'm the top sales guy in my office. I'm making $3,500 a month. I'm killing it. He starts laughing. He says, you're making $3,500 a month. How'd you like to make $4,000 a week? Because you're a pretty big guy. I said, shit, fuck, I'm all in. $4,000 a week? He says, yeah. He says, here's all I need you to do. I need you to be our muscle and help us get the money, okay, from our guys that haven't paid. He said, matter of fact, what are you doing right now? I said, nothing. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's go to Marina Del Rey. We got to collect some money. He says, but before we do, I want you to test the product. So he takes me to the bathroom. He says, test the product. I do a line that night. I come out. I said, There is no freaking way I can get close to this thing. I thought I was King Kong on steroids. I said, get this thing away from this guy, right? So we went that night. We collected $100,000 that night with this one guy on the marina. Anyways, this is like 20. I'm 19 years old, 20 years old.
He's doing the math on the statute of limitations.
Years old. No. I'm 23 years old.
You're good, Pat. You know what's coming after you.
So we go
got
in.
him, guys. Get DVDs going down.
We go in.
We got him.
Anyways, we leave. We come out, and he says, so now you know why I don't sell any memberships? I said, I think I kind of got an idea. He says, I'm making 10 or 20 a week selling this. Next week, I go to work. He says, you want to make another $4,000? I said, no, bro, I don't even want the money. I stepped away. Here's a moral of the story, what I'm telling you. I've been in it. I've seen it. I've been around it. Every single one of my friends that even got close to any kind of drugs, X, Special K, LSD, go through, do any one of them you want to talk about. Every single one of my friends that even got close to drugs lost years of their lives.
Yeah.
They lost momentum.
Yeah.
They got fired. They lost friendships. They lost girlfriends. They lost loved ones. They committed suicide. Best friends died because the guy started off with weed. It went to alcohol. It went to cocaine. It went to heroin. It went to 50 Vicodins every day until he died on May of 2005. And when I got the phone call, I was on a drive to Diamond Bar and I had to give a speech that afternoon. It was the most emotional speech ever. I was looking at me saying, why are you so emotional? I'm like, you guys have no clue what just happened. This guy just passed away. I didn't want to talk about it, but I was a keynote speaker. Moral of the story. If you have big plans and you want to do something big, don't even think about getting close to drugs. There was a guy in Canada that we were doing business with, insurance guy. This guy was making $3 million a year, married, killing it. So all of a sudden he gets invited to all these celebrity parties in Canada. But he's a simple guy. He was married to his wife, high school sweetheart. Everything was good. So he gets invited to these parties. Cool parties. He starts getting invited to these cool poker games. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not playing poker with these Hollywood stars, with these athletes. Well, one thing leads to another, starts picking up cocaine. Everybody runs him doing drugs. He starts doing drugs. He loses his business. Oh, he loses his wife. He loses his kids. 6 months later, he's homeless in the streets. People are seeing this guy. He lost every single penny his family had, his wife had. All of it's wiped out. Ruined the entire family just because he got caught up. And this guy's not in his 20s. He wasn't in his 30s. He was in his early 40s. This shit can get you no matter how old you are.
Yeah, but you
got to be very careful.
They see guys like that, like they see guys like that a mile away, man. Like he was a mark. Like somebody who was setting up those poker games was like, well, we're just gonna get him a couple chicks around here.
But they all had money though. It wasn't like he was partying with guys that weren't money.
Your money becomes my money. That's how I make my money. That's how that works.
But it wasn't even that.
They saw him come a mile away.
Yeah,
man.
but it wasn't even that. It's not when you're around other money people. They're not. They're just as big sometimes as idiots as you are. Like they're just trying to recruit more people that want to party with you. They're not trying to steal the money from you.
But you want to. If you're putting that table together, you're putting that risk together. I promise you, they're looking for a room full of marks.
Say a guy like that is out there. All I'm saying to you is this was not a playboy. You know how you talk to a guy and you know this
Molly's
guy's
game. You interviewed her.
Of course, yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Come on.
No. What I'm trying to tell you is, of course, what I'm trying to tell you
Molly
is,
Bloom.
This guy was not a player. You know how you talk to a guy around girls? Like I remember when Adam said this. Adam's like, oh, Gerard and I went out. Let me tell you, man, Gerard's pretty good with the ladies. He's pretty calm. Okay, I mean, yeah. How long did it take you to realize the guy's going to be comfortable with her? Two times
he
going out
slid in and stole the girl I was talking to, and I was like, "Who's this guy just undercut me?"
But you ever go hang out with a guy and all of a sudden you're like, dude, this guy's awkward around girls. You ever met a guy? This guy was the awkward guy.
I don't want to say anything.
Yeah. So, you know anybody that's awkward or no?
So here's the thing I'll say. All right, and this is the truth, and this has been my reality with this because I have so many friends that have experienced exactly what you just described, man, and. It's an escape from reality. So when you talk to your kids and stuff like that, where you can tell them, don't do drugs, don't do this, don't do that. If they're broken inside, if something's happened to them where spiritually they're broken, depression's a real thing. I don't know what happened with this guy. Maybe he climbed the mountain. This is something I'm seeing that I never would have expected at this stage of my life. My friends who have kind of like, quote unquote, made it, they get depressed for having made it. They love the chase. They feel like they have no purpose anymore. And that's when they start the partying and they do all this other shit. I swear to God, I have no way to quantify this, but I thought about this when I was in the minors. I would see guys start doing stupid things, and I'd be like, they're doing this on purpose. because they're giving themselves an out, because it's an incredibly hard thing to be like, I didn't make it because I just wasn't good enough. That's a hard ass thing to come to terms with.
To look in the mirror and say you're not that
hard
good.
thing.
Yeah.
But now to be able to be like, oh man, if I just stopped drinking, oh man, if I didn't get hooked on the candy, and then you give yourself that little bit of out that it wasn't me. Right? And I swear, I see it now. You got guys 40 years old, they're married, they've got the mansion, but like life is kind of like, it's kind of flatlined for them. And they need to see it destroyed because they want to see if they can build it back up again. There's something inside of them that has this self-destructive compulsion. And as far as the kids, you know, you talk about that awkward being socially anxious. You talk about like a guy who goes to a bar, there's a kid who goes to a bar. I can't talk to a girl. I don't have the confidence unless I'm drunk, unless I'm high.
Right.
It's a pretty easy thing to go up to a girl and be
Liquid
like,
courage.
You know, more than that, you go up to a girl in Miami, these girls are beautiful. It's hard to, you know, but it's like, hey, I got a bump. You want to go to the bathroom? It's like, boom, break the ice, or we go to a party. And it's like a socially acceptable way to break that ice. And it's that gets the guys aren't hooked on Coke. They're not hooked on whiskey. They're not hooked on weed. They're hooked on that culture because that's how they identify being able to get in, you know? So like when you talk to kids and when you have these conversations, it's not about like, don't do it or else. It's like, dude, you have to figure out a way to be confident in yourself and take care of your spiritual and your mental well-being so you're not susceptible to these things.
You hit the nail on the head with the cocaine thing because I've been there. I've seen it everywhere. It's a party drug. People, it's a social drug. Hey, it's cool. It's sneaky. Let's go in the bathroom or whatever. The one thing I will say, I wholeheartedly agree with everything you said about the drugs, the pills, the popping. The only thing that I'll say is with the marijuana, nobody's overdosed on smoking joints. Never in the history of the world.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah,
so you have people that are like, Bill Maher is a huge weed advocate. He says vocally, I smoke. Joe Rogan, I mean, Elon Musk went on his podcast. There's people out there that definitely use the creative benefits, medicinal benefits of marijuana.
There's two different conversations here. The one conversation is, should it be legalized? I'm a libertarian. You want to do whatever hell you want to do to your body, do it. I'm just telling you, it's going to slow you down.
I agree with that.
If you got big ambitions, if you want to do something big with your life, stay the hell away from drugs and alcohol. If you have big ambitions, you want to do something big with your life, stay the hell away from drugs and alcohol. That's my feedback.
I agree.
Now, the person can do whatever they want to do with their lives. That's up to them.
As my grandmother would say, Pat, you can't fly with the eagles in the morning if you're out with the owls at night.
Oh, damn. That's my grandma.
What a grandma.
Wow. My
Say
grandma.
it one more time. You cannot fly with the eagles in the morning if you were...
There was a smack and
You're out with the owls at night.
Yeah, you can't soar with the eagles in the morning if you're out with the owls at night.
Why does your grandma sound like my
you
Jewish
can. You just
mom?
need enough cocaine.
I think at a certain age, everybody becomes a
So
Jewish
are you
mom.
saying owls do cocaine? Is that what you're saying? I didn't know that. Okay. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.